weather I had in mind for today. It's a little windy, but I think we'll still try and make it work for today's video. But we're out here in the middle of the mountains looking for a nice little trail to get on and maybe do a little hiking. And we'll see if this weather holds out as we gain altitude, but I kind of feel like it's not. So we'll just see how things go. But airing down the tires now, and we will get on the trail here. Well, I guess the weather just isn't in our favor. The car just up the road was stuck, and right as we pulled up they got out, and looking at how packed in it is, I think it's a sign for us to also kind of call it quits on this, which is kind of a bummer because I was hoping to get to the top of this mountain and go on a nice little hiking trail, but obviously nature doesn't care about what I want. That snow has been run over so many times. It's just packed solid ice now at this point. I don't really feel like going over it. I don't feel equipped to do that. So I think we're just gonna call it quits, turn around, and I guess I'll continue the rest of this video back at the studio. All right, we're back in the studio. I don't know what it is about winter hiking videos on my channel, but I don't have the best record in completing hiking trails. So one of these days we're gonna have to do something about that. So as you guys know, in the camera gear video I put out a few weeks ago, I run with the EOS R6, and I want to share with you guys one of my favorite features about that camera that I use. One of my favorite features on the R6 is the ability to film and log. Log is simply a way of capturing and compressing colors that come off your image sensor. All cameras have a limited range of detail that they're able to capture in the brightest parts as well as the darkest parts. For example, if you take a camera and you're inside of a building, and let's just say you point it at the wall next to a window, you can expose for the room, but the view outside the window is going to be overexposed and bright. And if you try to expose for what's outside of the window, then the room itself becomes too dark and underexposed. That range of brightness to darkness in a camera is called dynamic range. Basically, the more dynamic range you have in a camera, the more it's able to capture details in both of those areas, in the highlights and in the shadows, when it's properly exposed. But by compressing that signal, you're left with a very desaturated and flat looking image, and it's not really pretty to look at. It might seem a little counterintuitive that in order to make your image look better, you actually have to make it look worse first, but here's why this works. By compressing your image in log, you are preserving the details that are in the highlights as well as in the shadows. Those two areas basically get compressed towards the center of your image and are there preserved later to be brought out in further detail. Whereas if you shoot in a standard color profile, those areas, if they are clipped, they are lost. All the detail in there is gone, and there's really nothing you can do except just work with the footage you have. But by filming in log, you're left with having elbow room to adjust those exposures and colors the way you want for the style that fits you. And this leads into the drawback of filming in log. It basically adds another step in your production process. Most people can get away with just shooting a standard color profile and just slapping it in a timeline and throwing it on YouTube. And that works for most people. Personally though, this is one of my favorite steps in the production process, and I really enjoy color grading and just working with log footage. It's not really something I have to do, it's just something I like to do and what I'm passionate about. Now that's not to say you have to shoot in log in order to make a great edit. By no means does that make or break your story that you are telling. There are lots of successful YouTube channels out there that film on nothing more than a GoPro or an iPhone. Like any tool, log is is just meant for performing a specific job that's meant for a specific purpose, and it may or may not be applicable to what it is you do as a filmmaker. Now, before I had the EOS R6, I actually shot on a Panasonic GH5. And while it had the ability to shoot in log, I actually ended up not using it. Instead, I opted to shoot in another color profile called Signlike. And the reason I chose to shoot in that is because that is what closely matched Signlike D on my DJI Mavic Air, which made color matching shots and color grading very, very easy, because both color profiles looked very, very similar. But now that my drone is gone and I have upgraded to the EOS R6, I have taken upon myself to color grade in log. Personally, this is just what works for me, but it is not going to be the make or break for getting views on my channel, and it probably won't be for yours either. But anyway, that is all I have for you guys today. I had planned to tell you this on top of a mountain on a trail, but instead we're here in the studio. Hopefully this video was useful to you, and if you guys subscribe to the channel, we'll be doing some deep dives into how I color grade my log footage. So stick around, more stuff is coming out, and I will see you guys in the next one.